It's going on, about 4:30 in the morning. November 12th, 2018. It's Friday morning. I've been watching this video here, and just about the time I think I've, the Lord and the Holy Spirit, I don't know what He's doing. I must be so persecuting of myself that it just feels He needs to take me back in time to situations so that I can see those situations and understand that, hey, I had no reason to feel guilty. I didn't do nothing. I'm wondering really what's entirely in that police report. I just don't know. I'm watching this lady. She's telling about narcissists and their entitlement, where they feel they're entitled to whatever. That it's, and she's discussing about self-injury, that narcissists can self-injury to get attention. And I thought, oh my God. And I made a little video earlier, just before this. It was so sketchy. It was bringing to. I was remembering as I was watching this certain situations as far back as, well, at present, as far back as 1990. And then I decided, well, I was going to go ahead and publish it, and I figured this is so sketchy. There's not enough detail. Because as this woman's speaking, the Holy Spirit, Jesus Christ, the Lord, is bringing back to my memory. I'm 71 years old. I don't remember this stuff. It's the past and the trauma that I've been through, and I think that's part of it. I know too much. I got too good of a memory, and I think that threatens her. Anyhow, I was talking about self-injury to get attention, and she did. Her daughter came to stay with us, whom she had not seen in 15 years, something like that. Maybe 10, I'm not sure. Well, her daughter's getting attention. I'm trying to get her to give her daughter the attention she needs. She needs some therapy because of the trauma that she had been through in her life. I mean, she was only 4 years old when my wife walked out on her 4 children. And I can't go into the circumstances. I mean, that's irrelevant. The thing that's relevant here is that her daughter came into her world, was with us for about 6 weeks, and her daughter deserved and needed attention. She was entitled to have attention. She had needs and attention. Now, there's a lot of complicated stuff around that short stay, but this was an interference with my wife. She was not getting the attention. The attention was being redirected to her daughter. Or at least it was by me, it was by the school, it was by the doctor. Wasn't really by my wife. She wanted the attention on herself. She even came to me and she said, I just seen something on TV about there's an incest workshop going on down in Wichita tomorrow night. I think maybe we should go to it. I says, why? Do you think there's been some incest there with her? She said, oh no, it's not about her. I said, what do you mean it's not about her? What are you talking about? She said, well, I think maybe there was some incest going on between me and my dad. I said, what? And I've been with this woman since 1990. I've been with her going on about 10 years. She never said anything about that before. But she's bringing my attention to it, and she's thinking we should go attend this workshop about incest because she's thinking she had maybe had incest with her father. At the time, I didn't, it's like, well, really? I said, well, I did not realize she was trying to redirect the attention from her daughter to herself. It just didn't register. And I said, hey, look, I'm taking this serious. I'm saying, look, now's not really the time for you to decide to deal with that. She said, but it's going to be a workshop on it. I said, I'm sure there'll be other workshops if that's what you're concerned about. And I said, she's, well, some of the things she said about him, which is her ex-husband, made me start thinking about that. And now I see this thing on this workshop about incest that I think maybe we should go to it. I may find out more about myself, and maybe we can find out more that might help her. Now she's trying to stroke me into going to this deal. Oh, now I see it. I saw it. I see it now. That was all to get attention off of her daughter. I'm doing retrospective perceptions due to what I'm learning about narcissists and their tactics. That's unbelievable. It's like I'm learning about it after the fact, years later, and I didn't know what I was dealing with at the time. Unbelievable. I mean, there's a perfect trait of her trying to redirect attention away from something that was taking attention away from her daughter. Now, you'll realize there had been 10 years there that she had my full, undivided attention while my attention was redirected towards concerns for her daughter. She wanted her attention back, my attention back on her. Well, at that same time, while her daughter was with us, I've opted out. I said, we'll have to do that another time. Right now, I think your daughter's immediate needs are more important than something that may have happened to you that you're not sure about when you were a kid. I said, I think your daughter's immediate attentions are needed more so now. So I opted out on it and said, no, we're not going to do that. We don't need to complicate the situation more than what it is. Well, we had an ice storm, I don't know, maybe a week later or so. And it's very important that we had her in school. Well, I didn't want her missing any school. Well, that ice storm had came during the night, and it was nothing but ice. Now, I had a big trans van at the time that we used as a mobile grooming facility for our business. And that's the only vehicle we had. But it was big. So I figured it probably could hold the road better on the ice. I just assumed, I don't know. I felt it was important to get her to school. And I told the wife, I says, don't go outdoors until I get back. I said, the sidewalks are covered with a sheet of ice. I'm going to get her to school. It's probably going to take me some time because the roads are probably, hopefully they're not as bad, but we got nothing but a sheet of ice out there. Don't go out to go to the laundry room to do any laundry or anything like that until I get back and have a chance to salt this stuff. Okay, it took me a while to get her to school. Got back, not a problem. Okay, the next day, I noticed something wasn't right. And I said, what is wrong with you, to my wife? And her daughter proceeded to tell me, Mom fell and broke her ribs. And she looked at her daughter with such hatred, like, how dare you tell him? I said, what are you talking about? I said, tell him, Mom, tell him. She said, well, Al, when you left and took her to school, I went ahead and went outside with the laundry to do a load of laundry. And I slipped and fell. I said, you've got to be kidding me. And she said, I think I broke my ribs. I said, well, we're going to the hospital. She said, oh, no, I don't want to go to the hospital. I don't want to go to the hospital. I said, well, we need to go to the hospital. She said, well, I'm doing okay. I think I may have just fractured them. But it's, I'm doing okay. I said, well, we need to go there. She would not go to the hospital. She got the attention back on her. Now, she's hurting, okay? I'm wrapping. She tells me to wrap her chest with this elastic bandage. She's got the attention off of her daughter and onto her. Completely unaware at the time how I'm being manipulated. So I wrap her chest, her ribs in a elastic bandage. That seems to help with her. Unbelievable. Yeah. She would not deal with her daughter. I kept telling her, you need to sit down with your daughter. You need to talk with her. You need to give her the confidence that she needs to be able to talk to you. She's talking to me about things that I shouldn't be hearing, that I don't want to be involved in. You need to talk to her. I'm picking her daughter up at school because I drive this big trans van. My wife can't drive it or won't drive it. So I'm picking her up at school. I'm hearing things, well, I got a boyfriend. I said, really, I don't think you need to be getting involved in that right now. She says, well, he's going to come over to the house. I said, you need to talk to your mother. Well, let's just keep it between you and me. I said, Kathy, we can't do that. You need to talk to your mother about this. And I don't think you need to be getting involved in some kind of boyfriend, you know. Well, anyhow, she was with us 6 weeks, went to school for a few weeks. Then after Christmas vacation, she went back to Daddy. Had no idea. I think that's when I got really the first indication now in retrospect, looking back, that when something came into the fray, into her world, that drew attention away from her, she started using her tactics to get attention back on her. And she definitely did there. Now, I'm not saying she went out and fell on purpose, but her rebellion against my advice caused her to go out. It's like she blamed me for it, that if you hadn't told me not to go out there, I probably wouldn't have gone. And she actually said that to me. This is after her daughter left. I got to talking about it. She blamed it on me, that her ribs got broke because I told her not to go out there, and if I had not told her to not go out there, she probably wouldn't have gone out there. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I think I'm intelligent, but when you love somebody as much as I loved her, it's very easy for them to blind you. Your love blinds you. They can manipulate you, and that's exactly what went on. Again, it comes to mind what my assistant pastor at my church said to me, did you not see the red flags? No, I honestly did not see them at that time. I saw that red flag, if you want to call it a red flag, months, maybe a year later, when I got to discussing it with her. I said, do you realize what could have happened with what she pulled in order to get her escape from us to go back to Daddy, the accusations she made? And she made accusations against her mother and I at the police station because we found drug paraphernalia in her bedroom. I told the wife, call police. I'm not going to have this. We got a business here. We can't afford this. Well, she wanted to go back to Austin. She went back to Austin. But I don't know, it was 6 months, maybe a year later. I'm talking about it, and I said, do you realize what would have happened if I had taken you to the hospital with your broken ribs? I said, do you realize what would have happened if I'd have came back and you'd have been laying out there on the concrete porch and it hit your head instead of your ribs and you'd have been laying there dead? What your daughter could have said to have nailed me? I mean, obviously she had hatred towards you and hatred towards me, and she told you just before everything blew up that she came here to destroy our marriage. She came right out and told us both that. Do you realize what would have happened if I'd have taken you to the hospital? And then she'd have told the police later on. Fortunately, I think she forgot about it. Otherwise, she would have told the police that I attacked you and broke your ribs, along with the other garbage she told them. But that happened so early in the 6 weeks that I don't think she remembered that Mom had broke her ribs or fractured them. Yeah, set up, boy. Set up. Yeah, they will injure themselves, and that's yeah. she broke her ribs the second time. Stepping over toy schnauzers. They're smaller schnauzers. We had 4 of them, and they would tend to lay on the floor, and she would step over them. And I told her, don't step over those dogs. You tell them, move, scoot. As I use the word scoot, they see me coming now, they move out of my way. I said, you can't be stepping over sleeping dogs. Somebody's going to get hurt. Well, one day she came to me, and she had fallen, trying to step over one of the dogs, a schnauzer, the little one named Xena. She blamed it on Xena. She said Xena was laying there, and I tried to step over, and she woke up suddenly and saw me, and then jumped up, and I was afraid I was going to step on her, so I lost my step, and I fell, and I think I broke my ribs. That time I took her to the doctor. She had fractured ribs. But that was the period of time that we had an employee. Well, it wasn't actually an employee, it was a leasee. I had bought the place next door and spent 8 months remodeling it to move our business out of the home into the place next door. My attention had been for about 8 months on the place next door. I had set it up so that we could hire people or put people to work as independent contractors, and I'd leased a studio to an individual, and my attention was on that individual, trying to let them know, how the system's going to work and the contracts and all that. I don't think she purposely fell on the ice to break her ribs. I don't think she purposely fell with trying to step over the dog, but it got her attention back. I don't know if you can do that kind of thing subconsciously, but to try to fall and not hurt yourself more than, I don't know how she managed to do that. If she did it on purpose, I don't know. But she also cut her hand while we had that person working for us, and she had to have her hand wrapped up so she couldn't groom, which meant my attention had to be back on her, not on the leasee that was leasing a studio. And set up 3 different studios. Yeah, they will injure themselves. And then I think that's what happened a year ago, and I even asked the attorney. He showed me pictures. I said, do you suppose she could have done that to herself? Because I know I did. I didn't do it. They had me believing that I did something, but I didn't. Yeah, I mean, you're so screwed up with medications and overdosing of drugs, you don't know what to say, what to think, you don't know what is reality, she had total control of me. She had me believing we didn't go to the moon. I'm serious, she had me believing. I'd never heard of that before. She had me believing, well, it wasn't entirely her. She said she didn't believe we went to the moon. I said, what are you talking about? She said, I don't believe we went to the moon. And ended up getting me to believe it too. Among other things, control. Yeah. I think she injured herself. And I think she did it after I had set up a appointment with a marriage counselor, because I felt we needed marriage counseling. I know she set it up afterwards, because on the report, the call went to the Adult Protective Services at 2:30 in the afternoon. We had went to the mental health clinic to set up the marriage counseling that morning. Not in the afternoon. We went in the morning. And the indications are she made a call to Adult Protective Services around 2 o'clock, 2:30. I think she set me up there. I think she injured herself, because she's the one that said that I beat her with a belt. She discredited me completely, said I was a Muslim. I forced her to go to the state hospital. I don't understand why the system did not realize that she was lying, unless they wanted to believe her. Is she that? Well, look what she did to me. She trauma bonded me. She lied to me, which I didn't know were lies in the beginning. And she love bombed me, trauma bonded me, and I believed every damn thing she said about her previous situation. That's why I've come to the conclusion, she's very dangerous. Now, right now, even though I'm out of that situation, I will not return to that small town, that community. I'm afraid to, because I don't know what else she might do. If she even thought I was in town, what she might do. And I've heard from some sources that the police have been called a couple of times now. I don't know if he's bullying me, giving me a line of BS or what. That, they say they seen your car, they seen your Jeep, they called the police. The police have been over at your house at night, shining flashlights, looking in the trailer. I said, she's paranoid. He said, oh, well, she's thinking you're there. I said, well, it doesn't take much for the cops to find out where I'm at. I'm right here. My vehicle doesn't leave this parking lot but maybe once or twice a week, and that's just to go to either the doctor's office or to the store right here, because I don't have the money for gas to be going up there. I just don't have it. Plus, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near her. I'm too close now. I'm a 20-minute drive, 20-minute drive, about 15, 17 miles. I don't want to be that close. He said, well, that's what they've done in the past. They've had the police out there in the middle of the night. They've been walking around your property, shining flashlights. She's thinking you're there. I said, well, it's a good thing I wasn't, because if I'd have been seen in town, they would have figured I was over there and they'd have arrested me. He says, well, I think that's what she wants to happen. She wants to have you arrested and put back in jail. I said, well, I was told that the cops will put you back in jail. You could be clear on the other side of town. I said, that's why I'm here. I'm out of their jurisdiction here. And I can prove that I'm here. I'm either on the internet. I get receipts from the store that shows my time that I purchased something. And I save those receipts so that if there's an allegation that I was in Burke, I'm telling stuff I shouldn't be telling now I'm trying to protect myself. That makes me sound very paranoid. But this is an educated paranoia. This is yeah. And I keep telling myself, just about the time I throw away a receipt that would prove what time I was at a gas station here locally or at the store locally, that'll be when the cops will show up thinking I was up there, and I won't be able to prove that I was not, because I won't have a receipt from a business or a testimony from somebody here at the apartment complex that I've made going out of my way to make certain that they see me, that I get my mail, that I visit other people and talk with them, because I don't want to not be able to have an alibi. Saying I'm in my apartment here, how am I going to prove that I was here? There's nobody with me. The girl across the courtyard here, she comes over to visit me from time to time, and I appreciate that. She doesn't know that my appreciation is that I can say, hey, so-and-so was visiting with me at that time, and she would be able to verify it, that I was not where my wife might say I was. I am scared of her. I'm putting my masculinity on the back burner still. I did that a lot when I was with her, put my masculinity on the back burner to deal with her issues. Because to deal with her issues, if I'd have kept my masculinity, I would not have been able to have dealt with her issues in the way that would have been, wouldn't have been good, put your masculinity on the back burner so you can deal with this and not get upset about it. As a man, But yeah, this is something else here. I'm learning I thought I had learned a lot up to this point, but unbelievable. Yeah. I didn't even realize I was an empath. Obviously, from what I'm learning now, I am an empath. And an empath is like the pièce de résistance to a narcissist. because they can feed off of an empath. We are a very, very good supply. A very good. They love empaths because we're so easy to. Man. Yeah. 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 Oh my God! This wears me out. This has been a learning curve. This is. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. This is just so draining. The knowledge. And I understand what the Holy Spirit's doing. It's trying to help me recover myself, because I got lost in this 37 years. Her manipulation, her control. I lost who I am. My personal opinion of myself is not very high right now. It hasn't been high for some time. And my desire to need, or feelings to protect her, were so... I would have done anything to protect her. Not only from anyone else, but from herself. I protected her from herself too, and left myself vulnerable. In my attempts to protect her from herself, I left myself vulnerable. I'm not codependent. She's talking about codependent, people who become codependent on a narcissist. I became dependent, not codependent, dependent. If that means anything, I don't know. I mean, completely dependent upon her. My life was her. My life was the business. That was my life. I had no other life but her in the business. That's all my life was. Until 2011, when I had the pacemaker put in and died at the foot of my bed. Then my eyes were opened up, and I began to trying to regain myself and stopping her use and her abuse, and that over time caused a problem. She didn't want to be exposed by going to a marriage counselor, so she bought out all the stuff she had put in the files and told it her way instead of the way it really was. I didn't know she was going to use the 2 times she broke her ribs against me years later. And apparently she told the Adult Protective Service lady that I broke her ribs. Twice. I mean, to just say she's diabolical, just to say that she's ruled by demonic spirits, is almost like it's a cop-out. You know, we're going to give an excuse that most people aren't going to believe, because they don't believe in demons, they don't believe in spirits, they don't believe in Satan, they don't believe in God. So it's, it's like this is in another realm, they don't want to hear it. And then to try to claim that she is, in the secular world, that she's got a narcissistic personality disorder, which is what it's called, NPD. Who are you to be diagnosing her? I mean, most people, the only contact they've had with her in 37 years has been short contacts dealing through the business. When they brought in their dog to be groomed, there was a contact with them. She knows how to sell it before, during, and after. They'd come pick up their dog. She got the reward she needed. She got the attention she needed. She got the admiration she needed. She got the, oh, you did such a great job. Oh, you look so cute, Telling her that the dog looked cute, that's like saying she looked cute because she's the one that made the dog look cute. See? Oh, man. I got eczema on my hands because of the nervous condition. This has been so nerve-wracking that what I have not had since I was a child has returned in my old age. And the doctor gave me salve for it, but this whole thing just unnerves me. And I'm itching now. It's just It just unnerves me. I'm doing okay. I'm fine. But it just unnerves me. Realizing how stupid I've been, how controlled I've been by her, and actually thinking that I was in control. When in reality I was not. Not at all. But since I had the pacemaker put in 2011 and suffering PTSD big time for at least 5-6 years, I'd just begun to get past the PTSD when there was a recall done on my pacemaker. And I had a rude awakening when I told the wife about it. Well, just look at it this way. You've had 7 more years than what you should have had. That's what you mean, 7 more years away. Well, if you hadn't got the pacemaker, you'd have died back in 2011. And just consider yourself lucky that you've had 7 more years. That's why I need to get the pacemaker checked out. They say contact the cardiologist. Well, if they need to give you a new one, we may not be able to afford it because I don't know how long we're going to be able to afford to keep this supplement paid for. In other words, don't worry about it. I finally got a hold of the cardiologist. You know what I got from the cardiologist? The same attitude. Don't worry about it. Just go home, and if you get feeling bad, go to the emergency room. Well, the pacemaker runs my heart and keeps it from going too low, because without the pacemaker, it'll go below life-sustaining levels. I won't have enough oxygen. My heart will slow down, and they tell me it's a sweet death, that I'll just go to sleep and not wake up. I don't want to do that. I've told this story too many times, but back to the subject about narcissists hurting themselves. And she definitely has done that, and I think that's what she did a year ago, last October. I think she accused me of being a Muslim, that I'd converted to Islam, that I believed in Sharia law, and that I had the right to beat her, and that I didn't eat pork, and she said I beat her with a belt. Not true, none of it. Also said I took her to a state hospital and tried to force them to give her shock treatment because she wouldn't obey me. I think she took a belt to herself, or the bruises she's got may or may not have been caused by a belt. I asked the defense attorney, I said, could she have done that to herself? He says, well, I don't know how. Well, I don't know how she managed to break her ribs and not hit her head when she fell. I don't know how she managed to keep from breaking a damn arm when she fell over the dog and broke her ribs. I don't know how she managed to break a glass and cut her hand. And this was a heavy glass. She had to have broken the glass and cut her hand on purpose. To say the glass, she says, the glass broke when I was putting the washcloth down inside it to clean the inside. This was a thick, heavy glass. And I analyzed at the time, well, maybe it already had a crack in it, because I couldn't imagine that the pressure of the washcloth would have broken that heavy, thick glass. I just couldn't imagine that. And I analyzed it at the time, and I said, well, maybe it had a crack in it and you didn't know it when you were. Yeah, I don't know how she could have done that. Well, never underestimate the capabilities of a woman. But I think she did. I'm pretty sure she did. If that's what those marks were from, and to me, they could have been caused by anything. She bruised very easily. I really feel that, of course, I wasn't in the state of mind back in May to really decide whether I should take the plea bargain or not. But I just wanted free from the whole damn thing, and I figured once the plea bargain was done, and that's what he told me, if you accept the plea bargain, the protective order's gone. You can go home if she'll let you come home. I wouldn't recommend it. He says, you can talk to her, you can talk to her family, you can talk to anybody, you can do anything you want. I'm figuring, okay, I'll take the plea bargain, and then maybe I can talk to her. Maybe she'll talk to me. Maybe she's not talking to me because of the plea bargain too, or because of the protective order, excuse me. maybe I can get a hold of her family then, because I hadn't even tried to do that. I didn't want to go to jail because I violated a protective order. So I took the plea bargain. Now I look back. You can defend yourself in the court of public opinion, but that doesn't change anything. And in reality, even talking about it, you actually end up condemning yourself even further, because there are going to be people that's going to not know you, and now they do, and they're not going to believe you. They're going to believe otherwise, because maybe they don't like the fact you're gray-headed or that you got a beard, so they're prejudiced and don't want to believe you, or won't believe you. It's not even a case of want; they just won't. But I had my choice: a jury trial, trial by judge, or the plea bargain. The plea bargain brought it all to an end. That day it was over with. As far as the charges and all that, I got a misdemeanor charge against me. Otherwise, God knows, it would have been a fight for another year, probably continuances, delays on court, like she did with the protective order. She kept delaying the protective orders because she either had the flu, this, that, whatever, and then they just stopped because they have to give you a hearing within 14 to 20 days in order to sustain the protective order. Well, it just kept getting extended. Finally, they put the protective order and asked me if that was all right. I don't know. My attorney didn't say that, no, he's trying to save the county money. So I went along with it, and they put the protective order, combined it, piggybacked it with my bond. That if I violated any of the conditions of the protective order, I would lose my bond. Then there wouldn't be any need for any protective order hearings. I got screwed. And I've never dealt with the justice system. I've never had any run-ins with law enforcement. I don't know. I didn't know what I should do. That's why I went and hired an attorney. I didn't take a public defender. I was told, get an attorney. Hire yourself an attorney. I think I'd have been better off with a public defender. It wouldn't have cost me anything, let's put it that way. Because I really didn't get a defense. I really wasn't schooled on anything. I really wasn't told about anything. I was told that my attorney was going to talk to me days before the court hearing and explain everything to me. Never heard from him. I saw him at the courthouse in the hallway where there was a whole bunch of other people. He went into the room where the judge was and came back several times and said, this is what the judge is offering. I said, well, I haven't got to talk to him. Well, you don't need to talk to him. I've talked to him. I said, well, I thought I would have a chance to tell my story. He says, well, these are your three choices, and you can tell your story then. If you take this choice, you can tell your story to a judge. You take this choice, you can tell your story to a jury. Or you can take this choice, which is a plea bargain, and it's done, it's over with today, and it'll be a $500 fine, and you can go on your way. Okay. I didn't have the money to spend on this lawyer for a fight in court that would, God knows, be put down the road 6 months, a year, or more. I don't know. I couldn't deal with this anymore, so I said, I'll take the plea bargain. I admitted guilt to something I was not guilty of. To take the plea bargain, paid a $500 fine. Had a couple of conditions put on that. No probation or anything that I know of. I don't believe there was. And I wasn't told there was. And went and paid me a $500 fine, walked out of the courthouse, and I could do anything I wanted to. I could go home if she would have me, but I was told I don't recommend it. Well, I'm glad I didn't go home to even try to talk to her. Because I found out months later she had gotten a license to carry back in December, and a neighbor had helped her purchase a gun at Walmart back in December, and she'd gotten herself 2 Rottweiler puppies, which now probably weighed about 120, 30 pounds apiece. I don't think it would have been wise to have gone back there. And when he said I don't recommend it, he didn't tell me why. He just said it's obvious she set you up. I wouldn't recommend going back there. If anything, call her on the phone. Well, I tried to call her on the phone several times in order to deal with business matters. If she wants a divorce, and as far as I was concerned, I was no longer concerned about her health and her well-being after what she had done. I'd forgiven her, but I figured that we need to deal with what we're going to do. Divorce, do whatever we can with something about the business. She wouldn't talk to me. Absolutely would not talk to me. Wouldn't answer the phone. I called the police to get a welfare check. Told them that I need to talk to her. We need to talk about some matters, as to legal matters, as to what we're going to do about this situation. They told me she told them she did not want to talk to me. I said, well, there's business situations here coming up that need to be dealt with. And I said, I can't deal with them without collaboration with her. Well, you're going to have to take that to court, I guess. And that was the end of that. I've since filed for a petition for a divorce. But this, again, back to the point. Covert Narcissist. Traits of entitlement. Yeah, I filed a petition for divorce, and I got a letter back from her, or through her attorney. She will consider taking back her maiden name, but she's not. She says, I'm not giving him anything. I got $20,000 worth of family inheritance. It went directly into the business when my father and mother died. I've got 37 years of blood, sweat, and tears that went into brick and mortar, plus all the years that I worked grooming dogs myself. I ran a mobile service for 5 years. I had a state-approved licensed school that I was certified as an instructor for 5 years. Now, admittedly, those things didn't work because she didn't want them to work. They were things that took attention away from her, so those things failed. My attempts failed. Even my grooming customers, she would take them away from me. And I'd say, well, isn't that so-and-so's dog that I did last time? Yeah, well, they wanted in, so I just squeezed them in. I didn't want to bother you with them. So, well, I could have groomed them. No, she took my customers, too. Yeah. She took my customers. I would get involved in doing some repairs or something in the business or something, and she said, well, I just went ahead and took it, and blah, blah, blah. Slowly, she took my customers away from me. She did not want anyone in the shop. She told me, she said, when we don't have employees here going through a probationary period or something, it's so much nicer because I don't have the stress around here that I have when I like working alone. Well, she pretty well gotten herself to working alone after I had my pacemaker put in 2011. I participated some. I learned to groom with the pacemaker. Dealing with PTSD. This is crazy. I don't need to tell my story for rehearsal purposes in order to tell the story better, but I need to tell the story sometimes over again because I remember things that I did not remember before. And this whole entitlement thing and what she's describing on how covert narcissists have these entitlement traits. Oh my God, she knows my wife. She knows my wife intimately. I didn't see it. I didn't know anything about narcissists. If I'd have seen this stuff 37 years ago, I would have probably left when I would have seen these signs, if I would have been capable of seeing them through the love bombing and the trauma bonding she was doing with me. And those are words I've learned from these narcissistic websites, that they trauma bond you to them, and then they love bomb you to them. Trauma bond you to them, and they love bomb you. Yeah. And manipulate the hell out of you, control you, and you don't even know it. By the time you do, it's too late. You're under their spell. Their control. And most people don't want to believe that either. They can't believe that. I used to be that way. I said, I don't understand how somebody can control somebody. We all have a free will. Yeah, well, a narcissist can undermine that free will, and you will surrender your will to them, to the narcissist. I'm so tired I could go back to bed and go to sleep. It's going on 5 o'clock in the morning, and I've been making these off and on, and then I watch it and I remember something else when I'm watching it, and I figure, well, I'll make it over again and include that information that I forgot. That's important information. To me, it's important. It needs to be told. I need to find somebody who can write a book and talk to them and let them figure out how to write the book. I need a ghostwriter, somebody who will write a book. Because I almost think, in a way, if I could pull it off and put it in a book, I would, yeah. But I don't think that's going to happen. And it wouldn't matter if it was done in a book. Probably have to change names and persons and places to protect the publisher from liability, so nobody would know it was about me anyhow and what I've been through. This is crazy.